Now it's about time.
Yeah.
Showtime.
I'm ready.
I'm ready too.
I love her.
Yes, I love her book.
Yeah.
Yes, it was.
I can't
Queen
wait.
Bee. Empress. Time to sweep.
Hope you're ready. How's that look?
About. Okay.
Maybe.
So
we're not gonna ever let her.
We're not ever gonna let her do that again. Okay. Don't worry. I'll take care of that. She's never gonna do that again.
You know what? I'm excited about S.W.E.E.P. Sisters who educate and empower with purpose. I'm Empress.
Hey, Empress.
Hey, girl. What's your name?
And I'm your girl, Queen V.
Well, okay. You just served it. All right. It's okay.
Love y'all.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do. You know what? Today's show I'm excited about. I'm excited about. We have our first author.
We do, and I love her.
And she's amazing.
Who is she?
Her name is Elise Poe.
Elise Poe.
Elise Poe. And she is the mother of a child who is mentally ill.
Which is the name of the show.
Oh.
Mothers of children with mental illness.
Mental illness. Black people don't talk about that.
I gave it to you for a reason.
No,
this right here. And all that goes into making it function, use that.
Black people don't get mental illness because it's not talked about.
Black people don't do what?
They don't get mental illness.
Wait, you said it again like that was okay.
Like that was okay. I'm supposed to take that back.
You weren't supposed to repeat that.
Okay, so
I don't know what tree y'all picked that leaf off of.
They did.
Take it back.
Ooh,
Black people get just as sick as everybody else.
It's for white people. Wait, you didn't know that? It's for white people.
Don't y'all repeat that?
Ever.
I know some of y'all said that before.
Ever.
Repeat that.
Ever. And it's very real.
Very.
It's very real.
And very universal.
Everybody.
And really doesn't judge. You don't care.
No. They don't care. They don't care who you are, how much money you have,
where you been,
what you do,
your lifestyle,
who your parents are. None of that. None of that.
All y'all.
And
all of us. Let me say
yes.
that. All of us.
Yes.
Are
affected or can be affected. And so, you know, here is the issue, is that paranoid schizophrenia is actually where we're going today a little bit. But there are different types and varieties. And what I found most interesting is that it's very sensationalized. Whenever somebody say, girl, you crazy, you paranoid schizophrenic, you schizophrenic. That's not fun. It's not fun. No. And you know, you have
no idea the weight that actually holds. And should somebody be next to you and actually be suffering from that, you come across like one of the worst people.
Because they know what they're dealing with, and then they don't realize that, you know, I know that I've said it. I'm guilty of it. I've said, you delusional. Honey, that's real. It's real. It's a thought. It's a very thought that's very over there, but it's still it's a thought. When you're a paranoid schizophrenic, you have hallucinations.
You hear voices. You
quiet.
live with these voices in your head.
You know, and this was and 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You are paranoid. You're delusional. Like your thoughts are very complex, and you hallucinate. You see things. You see things that maybe other people don't see. And then here is the kicker. This is the part that I was like, really? It's internal. You don't see what's happening in that person's brain. It's not like the flu or the cold or pneumonia where you can physically see that it's affecting them. It's all in their head.
And just like Ms. Pope said when we were on the phone and discussing today, She said, and I had to put it on the flyer, y'all, just because you can't see it doesn't mean it's not real.
Hello. Now, you know, with a person who's paranoid schizophrenic, they have very complex thoughts. Very complex thoughts. And they're bombarded with them all the time. However, their reaction, the behavior, it becomes inappropriate to the situation. And so you go, I have complex thoughts all the time. Yes, that's true. But your reaction and your behavior is actually what is causing or what is happening. And now you've internalized all these delusional thoughts and all this hallucination. You hear your voices, and now you don't know how to react.
Right.
Hello. That's real. Just because you can't see it doesn't mean it's not real. And then this is the part that was all over her book. He would have psychotic breaks.
Yes.
And this is what happens with paranoid schizophrenics. They have a psychotic break. Sometimes it's really rapid. It happens really fast. And you can tell through her book that the slow ones are the ones where she was like, wait, something's not exactly right about it. You know what? There's no cure.
It's not a magic pill. It's not a machine you can go through. There is no modern medicine.
There's no chemo. There's not, you know, Mucinex.
Dialysis.
That will not do it. There's no cure. Now, it can be controlled and handled with meds. And they have cognitive behavior stuff where they can journal and they can do other things that's going to help them. However, there's no cure for this. And that's unfortunate. And I think the most disturbing thing is that as an African American community, they just don't deal with mental illness. They will deny it first and believe that only white people, only our Caucasian friends are mentally ill.
But that's why things get so bad. When you find out about it, things have gotten so bad.
Yes.
One, because the person dealing with it is in denial. But two, when they do actually reach out for help, nobody believes them. Because this is, no, don't say that.
Right.
Don't, no, that's not real.
Right.
We don't get that.
Oh, hello. You know what? We do get that. You know, I had to do celebrities because, you know, I do pop culture. There was a young man named Joshua Mark. Joshua Mark was diagnosed schizophrenic and bipolar, paranoid schizophrenic. He was the runner-up on Master Chef. Amazing young African-American man. And unfortunately, he committed suicide after a psychotic breakdown. Wow. He was told that Gordon Ramsay was his possessor, was possessing him, and told him that he was God. And he had a psychotic breakdown, and he committed suicide.
Wow.
26 years old, because he had a schizophrenic, because he was paranoid schizophrenic and had a mental breakdown. You guys, this is so real. So real. There is another gentleman. See, we talk about how hard that is, but there are some people who have been very successful. Paranoid schizophrenic. Gentleman, John Nash, won a Nobel Peace Prize in 1994. His life was also chronicled on The Beautiful Mind. See the movie? It's amazing. Paranoid schizophrenic. Bipolar. Russell Crowe played John Nash, and this man was a mathematician who thought of the game theory. An amazing man. However, he would also say that when I refused to take my meds, that I would be institutionalized behind it. And you're like, there's this man who's genius. Even Joshua Marks, genius as a chef. Genius. And is with this crippling, debilitating disease. And so we are going to talk to a mother, Miss Poe,
who was brave enough to put her life on paper and share her story, because she absolutely believed in the beginning that she was alone. And she believed that there's somebody else out there that feels the same way. And so she wrote about it to help bring them some peace and let them know somebody's gone through this before you. And then to bring awareness to those of us who's never had to deal with anything like this. So when we get back, we'll be sitting with Miss Elise Pope.
Elise Pope, author of The Faces of Schizophrenia, From the Mother's Eyes, Lots of Stuff and $0 Saved, and the fairy tale Princess Diamond, resides in Texas. She is married and is the mother of 2 sons. Some of her hobbies are reading, writing, and listening to music. She also enjoys helping out in her community.
And welcome back. We are here with the amazing, talented, and beautiful.
What? You didn't say enough. Gorgeous, elitist, best-selling, honey.
Speak those things.
Best-selling national tour.
Yes.
I spoke it. Did.
God has works for her to do.
What? Yes.
Miss Elise Pope,
Yes.
the author of 3 of the most wonderful books I have ever experienced.
Yes, ma'am.
I've experienced 1.5 of these, and I just got one of them today. So by the time I get back in front of this camera, I'll say I have read all 3 of these wonderful works.
I'm mad 1.5.
1.5. I've read half of this one. It's so cute. We're going to start out with The Faces of Schizophrenia from the Mother's Eyes. This is the focus for today. This was the inspiration for today's show.
Great book.
When I tell y'all, she didn't pull any punches. She told the truth. So be ready, okay? You have been warned.
Warned.
But you need to read it.
Warned.
Read this book.
Read it. Oh my gosh. Amazon. Amazon has the book, and I Googled her too. And I looked her up on Amazon, and I found out that all of her books are on Amazon, available, ready to go. One click, download, and you're done.
Who doesn't have an Amazon account? Get your life.
Okay.
She moved on to Lots of Stuff and $0 Saved. And this book, I remember having a conversation with her a few months ago, is based on her childhood, how she grew up and how she got to where she is now, and what she doesn't have, and what we as a people don't have to show for what we've been doing with our money that we no longer have.
Because we didn't have
it. Had it once upon a time. Now you got all this stuff, but you ain't got no money. So
right.
So I hear there's a lot of valuable information in this book that is going to change your way of thinking, change your way of spending. See, there's a patient here that needs. Go ahead. Here you go. Go ahead.
Okay. I don't know if I want to read this just yet, but okay.
Then she tapped into her fairy tale side. Okay, if you didn't know, my favorite color is pink, so I fell in love from the cover. When I saw it on the internet, I was like, that's my book! And I don't know who this baby is on the cover, but that is the cutest little girl I've ever seen. But it is called Princess Diamond.
You know what? She was speaking about that book, and she said she tapped into her inner child and gave this book everything that she thought she ever wanted in her whole entire life. And I was like, oh. But you know what? I think she was thinking of me when she said Princess Diamond. I think that's what it was.
Well, I know all of your names, and none of them are diamonds.
But Princess is... Princess is... Princess...
See how she tried to steal my fire? Let me... Princess Diamond. And yet she said, even though it is for children, there is not a woman that would not appreciate this book. Who wouldn't want to marry the love of their life and be given everything their heart desires. Everything their heart desires. Including the one thing she didn't have but did end up getting. So,
cliffhanger! Suspense right there.
I'll tell you all of it. Read the book. Where can they get it?
Amazon!
So,
Amazon.
Please support the author, Miss Elise Pope, and all of her works, whom we have here with us today. Welcome.
Welcome. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely.
Anytime. Because your story is amazing. There are no words. The first thing that I wanted to address was the fact that this is about your son who is schizophrenic, paranoid schizophrenic. And the stuff that you said was so real. I was like, hello, I'm uncomfortable. But I love that it was that real, and that's what Queen V and I definitely talked about. So, Miss Elise, why don't you describe first of all, because let me keep it real, a lot of us African Americans have no clue.
Zero idea.
What that is. So describe your son's illness. And the reason why I say your son's is because from what I understand, it's leveled. There are different types of it, different varieties of it. So what was your son diagnosed with?
Well, my son was diagnosed with schizophrenia and bipolar disorder, along with PTSD, which is post-traumatic stress disorder. Now, when I first heard that, I didn't know what any of it was. I really thought that the doctors were crazy. Not my son.
Right.
My son had his whole life ahead of him. He was going to be this amazing person. He was so handsome, and he had everything going for him. And just like the rain falling to the ground, one moment he's on top of this beautiful waterfall, and the next thing he's at the bottom where the rocks are.
Wow.
His life, it turned upside down just like that.
How old was he when he was diagnosed?
Well, you know, he went to the service when he was 18. So I think when I first got wind that he was having issues, he was in his early 20s. So I'm saying around 21, 22. And he hid it from me. So I really wasn't aware that there was a problem.
So did you think that maybe as a young person, like watching him grow up, that you saw and you thought something's just not right as a young person?
No, that's what's so that's what blew me away about it. He never showed any signs of any trouble, any trauma, anything. He was a perfect child. And so think about it like this: to be a mother and have an amazing kid that's a very smart kid, got everything going for him, and all of a sudden his life is turned upside down. Imagine what it would do to you.
Wow.
I can't imagine, because you know, when I think about that, and we were talking, and you talked about some of the symptoms that you experienced. What were your first reaction to the symptoms before he was diagnosed, and then after?
Well, when I first found out about it, I didn't believe it. You know,
really?
We as African Americans, we don't believe that this is a disease that can affect us.
Right.
We don't think it's real.
We're immune to everything.
We do. We think, you know, we're so invincible, nothing can touch us. But mental illness does not discriminate. It doesn't. It doesn't care about how much money you have. You can be the richest of the rich or the poorest of the poor. It does not. It doesn't care about color. It don't care about black or white.
Wait.
Black people do not get schizophrenia.
No, they don't. It's only white people.
Excuse me. Wrong. Excuse me. Wrong.
We don't have those kind of problems.
Right, right.
You just think of the crazy stuff that you've heard before. Because
What?
What?
Black people?
We don't
Black
do that.
people don't get lice or mental illness.
Yes. That is so untrue.
Ready to go.
But you know, that's what you hear.
Yeah.
That's what you hear. And
So
that's
did
what
I. So did I. Until I never thought that it could happen to us either. Until it did happen to my son.
Wow.
Then I started doing research on it, and I found out it does not discriminate, because it attacks where no one sees: your mind. Mind does not have color. It doesn't have black, white, green, blue. It doesn't see African American. It doesn't see Caucasian. It doesn't see brown. It doesn't see anything that normal people would normally see.
Right.
It does not see that. So when a person is mentally ill, their mind is sick. That's the easiest way I can explain it. When a person is mental, their mind is sick.
Wow. Okay, so I'm You know now your son is ill. He's sick.
Yes.
And there are treatments. When did the treatment start?
Okay, I think back in 2001. This is prior to me learning he had issues. Okay, he was going to the doctor, but see, he was in denial also. So, of course, if he's in denial, he's definitely not going to tell his mom, his dad, and his brothers. He's not going to tell us what's going on with him. So he was in denial. But what he started doing to counteract these issues was he started drinking. So the drinking was his coping mechanism for the voices.
Wow. Voices?
Voices. He had two distinct voices in his head. One name was Cleophas, and the other one was named Leon.
And where did those names come from?
Well, when he was, right after he came home from the service, he and his cousins used to go clubbing. And they were fictitious names that were made up by Xavier himself that they used to give to ladies in the club because they did not want to give them their real name because they were party animals and all they wanted to do was go out, have a good time, hit it, and go on. So I'm not going to tell you
nobody knew my name back when I was clubbing. Everybody had a name.
Boom, Shika, Lynn.
My cousin stuck with Keisha so long. She ain't know. She ain't been
So
Keisha.
that's nothing unusual.
Right. So he took those names.
But those fake names became a part of his inner person.
Wow. Wow.
And they were dominant enough to where they took over Xavier's mind. So you have Cleophas on one side, you have Leon on the other, and you got Xavier in the middle fighting to keep his sanity, and the two of them were winning.
Were they violent?
Very violent. Cleophas was the extreme violent person. He wanted everyone dead. I mean, if he saw you, he would tell Xavier, kill them. They're a threat to us. Kill them.
Oh, wow.
This is, and now think about this, this is 24/7.
Right.
7 days a week, this person is telling you, kill them. Then you had Leon on the other side, who was more passive, but just as aggressive. He would tell him, oh, they don't love you. No one loves you but me. When I'm ready for you, I will let you know when it's time to kill yourself.
Wow. So death is the end result in both situations.
In both situations. And they were both fighting for control.
Wow. Wow.
And this is all going on
Inside. And no one could see it. That's why you can't, you don't know if a mentally ill person does not, you can't see their brain.
Right.
But they're sick just the same.
Wow.
I think that's probably the worst part about it. And then you're sick. You hear these and nobody can see it. So I could see why it would be hidden. Because you don't want everybody to think that you're crazy. That you are
first thing coming out of my mouth. You crazy.
You're crazy.
Because
nobody,
that's exactly what you think.
nobody hears that but you.
Right. I didn't say nothing. What are you talking about?
So people will think you're crazy.
Right. Absolutely.
Because I'm his mother and I thought he was crazy.
Right.
I'm like, boy, go somewhere and sit down. There's nothing wrong with you. And I said that over and over again until I actually took him to visit his psychiatrist. And that's when I had my first breakdown.
Did he already have a psychiatrist before then?
No,
for being in the service?
no. I think he probably only went once to see a doctor when he was in the service because he was in denial. He was in denial for years that something was really wrong. And of course, if he's in denial, he's sure not going to tell me.
Right.
Not going to tell his brother. Not going to tell his dad. Something is wrong with me. Or something is wrong in my head. And it wasn't until after he got married to where they really became more aggressive and more violent to where he knew at that point he had to tell somebody. And this is when he actually started seeking treatment. His wife told him he had to go and see someone for this.
So was this at the VA hospital?
Yes.
Well, you know,
Yes.
I'm gonna go there because
Okay,
that's
go.
what I do. So how did the VA hospital handle it? Did they handle it proficiently? Was it handled well? Do you think that there were some things that needed to be improved when he went? How did the VA hospital treat him when you went?
Well, when I actually went to meet the doctors, when I actually got him set up in the program where he had to start seeing the psychiatrist, the psychologist, the social worker, they were all extremely nice. They were really good to him. The problem wasn't them. The problem was him. And let me explain that. What his problem was is he was in denial. So when they put him on the medication, he stopped taking it. And that's the worst thing that a person that is mental can do. The medicine keeps them balanced. When the imbalancement comes in, it's just like the scale. Once there's when a scale is on an even keel, it's sitting side by side. But if you take one of the bricks off, the scale is going to tip right or left. But that's exactly the way his psychiatrist explained it to me. Once those neutrons in his head, when they're not firing and they're not equally touching like they should be, and I'm not a doctor, I'm just giving you my observation from what she gave me.
Right.
But when everything is not firing and it's not connecting, there's a disconnect. Thus the imbalancement comes in. And once there's an imbalancement, that's a ticking time bomb.
Wow.
Remember, you can't see it. It's here.
So going back to the home life, he has a brother, and he's the younger brother. So how do you think having a sick older brother, or having somebody that, as you explained in your book, needed to be taken care of, like you were responsible for his everyday living at one point as an adult. So how do you think that affected his little brother?
Well, his little brother was away at college at first, so he wasn't there with him like I was at first. When he actually came, okay, let's back that up. When he got out of the service, and then after he got married, and then he came back, ended actually coming back to live with us. His brother was away in school. So I would talk to his brother, Julian, about it, but he wasn't there every day to see it firsthand like I was and my husband. Well, when Julian finished, I think, a couple of years in college, and he moved back home, I don't think it was really any resentment there. I think they clashed when Xavier thought that we loved Julian more than him. And so he would lash out or make, sarcastic remarks against myself and their dad. And Julian is very protective of me and his dad. So that's the only clashing that I know for a fact that they had. But for as the sickness, even though Julian was the youngest, he himself even tried to protect his brother because he heard someone say something negative about his brother. And he actually charged them up about it, said, listen, man, that's my brother. You can't talk like that about it. So I think he went into that protective mode, even though at first, I don't think even he believed that he was sick, because none of us did.
Right.
You can't see it. We didn't believe he was really sick.
You don't have a cough, you have no fever.
You're good. No temperature. You exist and you look like you're perfectly fine. And, it was only when he was drunk where he would look deranged, like he wanted to kill you, or when he was angry. Now, when he was angry, you could see the rage in his eyes, and his eyes told you at that point what he wanted to do to you. And there were times when he and I would have confrontations, and he would try to intimidate me. I saw the rage in his eyes, and at that point, he looked like he wanted to kill me. I saw it in his eyes.
So did you ever fear him?
Oh, no. Not at all. I was, that's my son. I was not fearful of him, even though the voices wanted me to be. I was never fearful of him. I was never afraid of him. Neither was Julian or my husband. None of us. We never feared him.
Wow.
No.
So it was easy for them to intimidate other people.
Right. And they could be very because they were so aggressive,
Mm-hmm.
they pride themselves on intimidation. And I think out of all the people that were more intimidated by them, it was Xavier himself. Because they were the ones that were doing all of the talking. He was quiet until they were ready to speak.
Wow.
And then he would say something to you, or or when he would talk, when he himself was talking, he'd just say, make them stop.
Wow.
I just want peace. Make them stop.
Wow.
Because they never shut up. So it was always a war in his head.
Mm-hmm.
It was like they were fighting for control. And he wasn't, even though he was passive, he wasn't ready to give them total access to his total mind. But they were fighting him for it. So that way, they could control him and they could get him to commit suicide.
Wow.
Which is what they wanted.
Right.
Wow. You know, it makes me think about all those people who have that, who shot up universities, who have shot up schools.
And that's what's going on.
Yeah, that's what's going on.
They're just doing what they're being told to do.
Yes.
And they're tired of fighting it.
That's it.
Wow.
That's it. That's it. I'm telling you, it's a lot more serious than anyone think it is. Mental illness is real. Schizophrenia is real. Like I said, I had never heard of that word until my son was diagnosed with it.
Wow.
It took me a long time to even learn how to spell it.
Right.
I still don't know.
When I was in the book, I was like, woo.
Yeah, it's a mouthful.
Yeah, I could say it, but when I had to like put it in, I couldn't spell it.
That's where you push the Google talk button.
Yeah.
Schizophrenia. So,
Yeah, it takes some time.
How did the extended family deal with my cousin or my nephew or my grandson has schizophrenia?
Well, no one thought it was real.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone thought he was faking. They did, because I used to think it, and so did my family. I only had one sister that thought something was really wrong. That's because she had issues with wanting to commit suicide herself.
Wow.
And so she used to call me and say, it makes me angry when I hear you guys say it's nothing wrong with him. He's just faking it. She said, no, he's not.
Wow.
He is not. And so when she started saying that to me, then I said, well, maybe I better, once he got back home, I said, maybe I better check it out and just see. So when I went with him to his doctor's visit, and I wanted to learn more about it, so I started doing research and just reading up on it. And it just really blew me away when I started reading about mental illness, schizophrenia, bipolar disorder, PTSD. And it is so many different other variations of mental illness, but it's just when a person has schizophrenia, that means that there are voices in their head, and these voices speak.
All the time.
All the time. They never, if he didn't take medication, he would not be able to go to sleep.
Wow.
Then his mind is never at rest, so he can't sleep.
That's difficult.
And let me tell you this, it is so important to our body that we get rest. When you don't get rest, your whole body gets out of whack. So by him not being able to rest, the voices are constantly talking, he was always on edge.
Wow.
He was, like I say, a ticking time bomb.
Wow.
All of these experiences and everything that you have done inspired you to write a book. And it's an amazing book. Like, I read it and was, I know I've said it to like several people, but it was raw truth. Exactly what you felt, exactly what you thought. And I mean, when Queen V and I were talking about it, I was like, it made me uncomfortable to think. And I love that Queen V said, well, I think that if it wasn't that raw, that it was
I wouldn't have been able to read it. I'd have put it down. If I'd have started reading that book and it was all, my son is sick, but he is such a gift and things were hard. I'm not going to be able to do this.
Right. But if I would have told it from that point of view, it wouldn't have been the true story from my eyes.
Right.
And I wrote it from my point of view, exactly how it was happening.
Mm-hmm.
And believe it or not, some things I did not put in the book.
As raw as that book is.
Oh,
Because
yes.
it's
There are
raw.
stories we don't know.
Yeah.
There are stories you don't know.
Because
Well,
it's
thank
raw.
you.
Yes. Yes. Let me go ahead.
I put
Thank you.
I put enough in there to pique your interest. Like, wow, did that? Yes. Let me be the first to tell you, everything that you read in there really happened.
Everything. Everything.
It happened.
Everything.
Everything. Okay. So what inspired you to say somebody else needs to read this?
Well, what made me decide to write about it was, I said, I know, because at first I thought I was the only one going through it. I'm like, Lord, I know it is other mothers out there that are suffering, that are hurting, and they need to know that there is hope for them, and you can overcome this.
Wow.
Even though it hurts, and you're gonna cry, and you're gonna fuss, you're gonna get angry at God. Yes, I said it. I was angry. I was angry at the world because I said, why my son?
Right. And why me?
And why me?
Right.
And my son and I got into confrontation because he kept saying, you don't understand, you don't understand. Why did this happen to me? And I looked at him, I said, why the hell did it happen to me?
Talk about it.
Well,
Okay.
Because I'm here with you.
Yes.
I'm like, you're not going through this by yourself.
Right.
I'm going through this too. So it's not just you. Have you ever, no, seriously, had you ever thought to look in the mirror and say, what is this doing to my mom? I cried so much to where I literally had no tears.
Wow.
My family did not know the full extent of what I was going through.
Wow.
I was hurting. And the only person I could really tell what I was going through was a mother of the church named Mother Lily. She was the one that helped me because she would see it in my face. And sometimes she would walk up to me and say, baby, you need a hug. You don't have to say a word, but I can just tell you need a hug. I was hurting. I was going to church. I was literally getting so depressed because I couldn't fix him because I pride myself on fixing problems.
Right.
But this was one I could not fix.
So
And it hurt.
It affected how you thought about yourself as a mother?
Yes. It
Wow.
affected me because I thought I was a bad mother.
Right.
I thought I had done something to cause him to have issues.
Wow.
But you did it.
But I didn't. But God had to reveal that to me. Because for years I thought I caused this by something I did.
Right.
Either while I was carrying him or either after I gave birth to him. I thought I had done something to cause his problem.
Wow.
But you did it.
But I didn't.
You did it.
I did not.
I'm
It's
saying
not
that
your
for a
fault.
reason.
It's-
Yes.
You didn't do it.
And other mothers need to know it's not your fault.
Wow.
They're just sick.
That you can't see.
Can't see
We
it.
you know what? We're simplifying it, but it's really not that
No,
simple.
it's not.
No.
You can't see it. I'd much rather he had cancer. And I know they say,
Wow.
oh, why would you say that? Because I could see what
Right.
cancer do to a body.
Right.
You can't see mental
Wow.
illness.
Wow. That's a lot to
Yeah, I'm like, I'm supposed to say something right here, and
That's
it's
a
difficult.
lot.
And I know the reason why it's difficult because we don't talk about it. It's not anything that you.
It's not common.
Yeah. Let's talk about my son having schizophrenia. No, we don't want to talk about that, and it's uncomfortable because you can see the flu, I can see the cancer, I can see cold, I can see pneumonia,
Yes.
but I can't see what's going on,
No.
and then I feel helpless because I can't fix it.
There you go. That's me in a nutshell, right there.
Wow. And it's like she said, it's okay to be mad at them.
Yes.
I mean,
Yes.
we are, because there's so much you don't understand about God. You do have questions.
Yes.
You get mad when He don't answer them.
Yes.
Right.
And yes, His will is perfect, and God is perfect, and He knows all, and all this is for the greater. But today, while He over
I'm
there
not
cussing
feeling
me
that.
out, right? Don't tell me that today, and that is perfectly fine.
You know what I say? I know. I say this. Please stop telling me you understand. Don't say those words. Don't
Because
say.
I won't tell that lie.
Yeah, I'm not
gonna
I've
tell you
learned
that.
not to say. I understand.
No.
I've learned not to say that because I really don't.
No.
Nobody knows it until they're going through
That's
it.
right. Until you walked in those shoes, you really don't understand, because I didn't either. I did not.
So
it is a real problem.
You understand how some, like you were saying earlier, some of them end up homeless because their families just can't deal.
Absolutely cannot deal with it. And trust me, I wasn't far from putting him out either. It was so bad to the point to where I wanted to just scream. I'm like, I can't deal with this anymore. I don't care that I gave birth to him. I didn't ask for this. I don't want this, and God, I'm going to give him back. I don't care where he goes.
You can have him.
You can have him. Do whatever you want. I want him out of my life.
That's that truth right there.
And
that's that
people
truth.
may say, oh, she's a bad mother. Say whatever you want, because I got over that. Didn't care. And this is what I say to all of those that say, oh, she's a bad mom. Let him come live with you.
Oh, right. You deal with this.
You deal with it. Let him come live with you. I'll give you a week. You give him back.
Wow. To give, as most parents do, to give your child everything you had. And he was an adult by the time this came on.
Yes.
So you're starting over. And I have to re-raise him all over again.
And I resented that.
And on the worst of days, I'm everything but a child of God. But I'm giving him everything that I have.
I'm giving him all that I can and still trying to function, go to work, be a wife, be a mother, raise a grown child again.
Right.
Go to church, function in the church, function at work, and come home and deal with that. It was enough to drive anybody crazy, literally. So it was a lot. So yes, I did question God, and people used to say, "You don't question God." I said, "Well, why not? He's my friend. If He say He's my friend, you can talk to your friend about anything."
Now, if He answers me or not, that's something else.
Doesn't mean He's going to answer you.
Right.
But a friend you can talk to about anything. And that's the way I felt about God. I said, Lord, I need help. I need your help. I'm sinking here. I don't know what to do for him. I can't fix him. And if you don't fix him, we're lost. And that's why Mother Lily was so inspirational to me, because she used to always tell me, don't give up. I know it hurts, but if you give up, he's lost, because you are all he has. You are the anchor that's holding him together. That was a shabby anchor, guys. Oh my God.
I was listen.
It was sinking. It was sinking many times. But I will say this. At my moments when I felt I couldn't go any further, God always sent me someone that would lift me up. Always. I would get a word or something, say, baby, it's going to be okay. Or something just would make me smile. Because I got to where I couldn't smile anymore, because it was really wearing me out.
It consumed you.
It was consuming me because I couldn't fix him. And I wanted to fix him, but I couldn't fix him.
Wow.
Because you can't, no one can fix him. Even the psychiatrist and the psychologist cannot fix a mind. They can get you to where you're functionable, but they cannot fix the mind.
Wow.
There's no cure.
There's no cure. There it is. There's nothing. No cure. You can function. You can be a functioning schizophrenic,
but that's about all.
Absolutely.
That's about
that's
all.
As good as it gets.
Well, I know that it encouraged you to actually get out there. I know there are any organizations for mental illness that you belong to. Why don't you tell us about some of those?
I'm part of the NAMI organization, which is the National Association for Mental Illness. Okay, and I get newsletters from them. I even post on their website. Sometime I will, give little blurbs about what I have gone through. But I can't even do that all the time, guys. You know why? Because the people that are writing into them, some of them are so sick and their mind is so torn. I can't stand to read what they write. It hurts. Because some of them, and even though my son is bad, some of the things that I have read, I have to pull myself away from it. Now that might sound like, why would she say this? No, because it consumes you. It literally pulls you into their moment, and you're reliving that. Even when I was writing the book, there were times when I had to step away, because it pulled me into those scenarios like I was reliving it right then, right there as I was putting it on paper, and I had to back off. So sometimes I can't.
That's the sign of a great book.
Sometimes I had to back out in order to write it.
Wow.
But I was determined to put it out there where other mothers, where it would help someone. And they will know that they're not by themselves and there's hope. There is hope, I promise you. As bad as it is, as bad as it gets, and it gets really gruesome sometimes, there is hope.
Wow. Wow. So piggybacking on that, what kind of advice would you give to those mothers?
I would tell them to, first of all, seek God. I promise you can't do it without Him.
Wow.
That's the first thing I found out. I could not do this without God. Even though I got angry at God, I realized, and thank God, He is a forgiving God. And He knew that my mind was messed up and I needed Him.
Yes.
In the chapter Illumination, God came to see about me.
Yes.
That's a beautiful thing. So that's why I say you can't do it without Him. And when He enlightens you, He was the one that told me how to get through it. Not the psychiatrist, not the psychologist. God is the one that helped me. He led me to different books on the mind. And when I started reading about the mind and started reading the Word more, and I just tapped into that, He just led me on steps in order to help me get over it. So once I saw that and I started getting better, when He actually came down and the light just went off like the brightest of bright light that went off in the sanctuary, when God illuminated the place to save me, then I knew then that there was hope on the other side, and that even though you're going through and you can feel like you're in the darkest of valleys, that God will bring you through it. And He brought me through it. And then once I went through it, because He never answered me when I said, why my son? Then after I got on the other side and I said, God, what are you trying to tell me? He said, you're going to help someone. Your experience will be able to help someone, because someone is going to read this and this is going to help them, let them know that they're not alone. And I even told my son, as bad as it was, I said, God sent us through this for a reason. I said, I know nothing happens without a reasoning and behind it. I said, and there was a reason. And I said, I don't know why He chose you and I would rather He had chosen someone else. But it fell in my lap. So I had to play the hand that I was dealt. So God showed me how to do it. Like I said, you cannot do it without Him. You can't.
And I can sit here and say that you have just helped millions upon millions of mothers who are dealing with that.
Who were sitting exactly where you were, thinking they were alone.
You're not by yourself. You are not by yourself, and there's someone out there who went through and is going through. And they can hear it now, that what you went through, I've been through it, and I have to go through it. And one, there's no cure, but God is the one who will keep you through it. So you just help millions of women, even though I don't have kids right now. Even if I know somebody who's experienced them, I can say, please read The Faces of Schizophrenia.
But even if you're not connected to somebody who has it, like it was eye-opening for me, because all you know is movies, or opinions, or people have made it. It's so casual now. You call people crazy, but you really haven't the slightest idea what you're really saying.
You really don't.
And
you have no idea.
You can't imagine. I can't imagine being Xavier and living with those voices in my head. I can't imagine being his mother or his caretaker and having to take care of this person who you know deep down they appreciate it, but they're dealing with so much. You get like treated the worst.
Yeah,
the worst.
You really do. You are treated very badly, and that's why they end up being homeless, because their families can't deal with them anymore. They literally drain life right from your body.
Wow.
Well, how is he doing right now?
Oh, he's wonderful. He's getting ready in 3 weeks to move back to his own apartment.
All right.
Because his dad gave him his own truck, and he's so excited. And the fact that he's a veteran, you know, there are programs that are set up that will help the vets. So they're going to totally furnish his apartment. Oh, he's on a cloud right now. And the one thing, after going through all of this, that I have seen in him that I hadn't seen in years, he smiles now. Now, we take smiling for granted.
Yes.
Right.
He didn't smile. He didn't talk. He didn't smile. He's smiling now. He actually wouldn't even talk to me. He actually holds conversations with me now.
Look at God.
Wow.
That's amazing.
It's a slow process, but there is great improvement.
Yes.
I can see the difference.
Wow.
I can see light at the end of the tunnel.
Wow.
That is a bright
amazing.
light, too.
There is a bright light.
Well, that's wonderful to know that at the end of
Yes.
all of this,
Yes.
no matter how long has it been?
Oh, it's been over 10 years.
After 10 years, some of us can't stick it out a couple of days.
Right.
Yeah.
What you're not going to do before after 10 years, you stuck it out and you can see
Yes.
God's promise.
God's promise.
You're going to get through this.
That's right.
You're going to be
He
okay.
promised me that I didn't see it, but he promised me that I would see better days and I would get through it. And it is actually happening.
Wow.
Slowly but surely, I see a difference. Because he used to wouldn't even go outside.
Mm-hmm.
He was afraid of people.
Right.
And if he had any encounters with people, he wanted to hurt them.
Mm.
He doesn't talk about killing people now.
Wow.
No.
Wow. I can't imagine hearing that.
Can you imagine?
Every day.
All the time.
All the time.
Every day.
Kill them. Kill them. Kill yourself. Kill them. Kill yourself. That was it.
Constant.
Every day.
Ooh. Well.
Well, Missy Lee's, I'm glad that you took the time with all of our viewers
Yes.
to share your story. And believe you me, people are going to watch this and be inspired and encouraged.
I hope so.
Oh, no, they will be.
And we don't want them to think you're hiding from the camera.
Right.
So will you explain to them why your identity is being concealed?
Well, because of the sensitivity of mental illness, like I said, people don't understand it. And my son was so ashamed of it, he did not want his true identity revealed. And so he said, Mom, you can't do it either. Because if they know who you are, they will know who I am.
Right.
So, therefore, I cannot allow my face to be seen. I can tell you about it, we can read about it and talk about it, but to protect him until he's ready for the world to see his face and see my face,
Right.
then we can't show my face.
Right.
It's for his protection, and I promised him I would do that.
But the amazing thing about your story is they don't need to see your face.
Right.
They can put their faces in place.
That's correct.
And they can be Elise. And he can be Xavier. Or whoever, he or she can be Xavier. And because you're as, as different as your situation is, in that world, it's really common. Somebody just listened to their story.
Right.
When they pushed play, when they clicked on YouTube, and pushed play, right, they heard, that's my son, that's my daughter, that's me.
That's my grandson.
Right.
That's my niece.
Let me give you a visual.
That's it.
This is your child's face. These are your eyes. You don't need to know who wrote it. You just need to know that you're walking in the path that has already been treated. Somebody's walked that path and they're making it out. They're making it out. It wasn't easy. Some of those steps are a little bit deeper than the other ones, but y'all are coming out.
Yes. And it does help, believe it or not. It took me years to understand it, but it does help to share your story. Because, like I say, you feel ashamed, but you haven't done anything wrong. But it helps, and mothers need to know if you find someone that you can confide in and talk to somebody, because it helps you. It even helped me. It took me, I started writing this book back in 2005.
Wow.
And I just finished it in 2014.
Wow.
I would pick it up, put it down, pick it up and put it down. Because like I said, there was time it was too painful to write about. But I have found, as I wrote, it was healing in it for me.
Absolutely.
So others, like I say, others have stories. There's other mothers out there, and they have stories. And they, believe it or not, it will help them to talk about it, to even write about it.
Absolutely.
When they're able
Yes.
to do so.
Yes.
Well, honey, you sitting over here looking gorgeous. I wish y'all could see.
She
what
is too
we
cute,
could see.
okay?
gorgeous. She is serving it today. And we are so glad
wrong
that
with
you,
Empress, okay?
we were so glad that you came and shared with us, and just know that as soon as somebody sees this, we want them to send their testimonials
Please.
to us so that Missy Lee's can absolutely see that you are impacting the world, not the city, not the nation, the world with your story.
Well, I'm very humble about it. You know, I can't take full credit for it. It was truly given to me. I was tasked with dealing with him, but the story in itself, God helped me put it together. I mean, we're just going through mine and his life, and my son, my other son, and my husband, and we just, you know, just collaborated on it. And I told him, I said, I'm going to write this. And I actually talked to Xavier. I said, how do you feel about this? And he said, and the only thing he said is, Mom, I'm okay with it. Just don't give my name. Don't put your name on it. That's the only requirement. Other than that, I said, so I can share the stories. He said, yes, you can do that. Just, you know, just for my sake. And I promised him I would. So.
Wow. I love it.
Me too.
I love it. Which means he was in a different place for
Yes.
him to even let you.
Yes.
Wow.
Even to agree to that. Yes.
Wow.
So there's been some progress.
Yes.
Yes.
That's a lot of progress.
It is.
It is.
It is.
Please go to Amazon.
Wait. You got some shopping to do.
Yeah, right. Several pieces.
Please go to Amazon.
And also Barnes and Nobles has it. You can get it through them, or either Books A Million. You know, other libraries have it, but it's exclusive. I mean, it's not exclusively at Amazon, but Amazon is where the books actually came through. But other bookstores, like I say, Barnes and Nobles has it, and Books A Million. You know, other avenues. So you know.
So if you're not an Amazon fan,
you need to be someplace else if you are not on Amazon.
Books A Million and Barnes and Noble.
Barnes and Noble.
Right. Just put in at least Pope, and all 3 books will pop up.
And she's working on more books.
Yes.
So you would look. She never stops working. Okay.
This is only the beginning.
God has so much in her. The life you've lived,
yes,
is coming out in print.
Yes, it is.
That is amazing.
I know.
Your life is in print.
Yes.
Wow.
I don't want my life.
We're not gonna tell your story.
I think that I would go. You know what?
Never mind.
I don't want to write. Well, thank you, Missy Lee's.
Yes.
It's been my pleasure, ladies. It's been my pleasure. I thank you from the bottom of my heart for you even taking the time to give me a place to, just to hear my voice and let me tell you about my story.
It's an amazing story. We can't wait. You know we're going to have you back, right?
Well, hey, let me know. I would love to come.
We keep our word. We bring people back. Y'all saw the last 2 episodes.
And when we do come back, we are going to mop it up.
Mop it up.
For all of your fence and decking needs, choose a professional with over 40 years experience and a AAA rating with the Better Business Bureau. Super Fence Company is committed to going the extra mile to ensure customer satisfaction. Call 214-454-4847 today and schedule your free estimate. Our motto is, your privacy is our priority.
Welcome back. Welcome back.
Welcome back.
Welcome back.
Child, we were so serious. We had to bring it up.
Yeah.
Now it's done.
Mop it up.
Mop it. Mop. Oh, you shot.
Cinderella with it.
Oh, okay. So Iron Productions is going crazy.
Right. He hates. Okay.
But it's okay. You know what? It was so serious. Like, we have to.
And what's so funny is she talking about how we got to brighten it up, but her mop it up is so anyway.
It is.
Matthew 7:5. And her favorite version of Matthew 7:5 is, you hypocrite.
Oh!
You're so rude.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You hypocrite. You hypocrite. How can you, wait a minute, say. I'm finna mix it all the way up. I was getting ready to mix it all the way up.
Don't do it.
You hypocrite.
You hypocrite.
Rita, reach. First, take the plank out of your own eye.
Yes.
Your own eye. Take that out. Then you will see clearly. Then you can see. To remove the speck from your brother's eye.
I had to bring this.
Okay.
Because if I could put it in other terms, that means get your
The whole thing.
entire life.
About all that judging you've been doing.
Right.
Stop it.
Stop. All that stuff that you've been proclaiming. Stop it. Stop. Cut it out. Because the only reason why I came up, why I know God placed this in me, because remember I was like, I really don't know where I want to go. And the reason why this is so important is because over and over, Miss Pope kept saying, don't call me a bad mother. You have not walked in my shoes. You have not done what I've done. You have not been where I've been. How can you call me a bad mother?
How can you call her anything?
Get that 4x4 out of your eye. Oh, no. That's a big old log. So that you can see clearly, because you have no idea what that person or any other individual who's dealing with mental illness, or for that matter, who's dealing with anything that God has them going through. You have no idea. So how can you judge?
Why would you judge?
Don't do that.
Be careful about that. He'll make you walk that same path.
Oh, well. But that's true.
Because
that's true.
When you go to the parents that do either put their child out or put them in a facility because they just can't do it anymore, you haven't the slightest idea of what hell they went through.
What hell she went through.
You have no idea. She stuck it out.
Yes.
I
walked it.
You're talking about a test of faith and strength.
And I don't even, and I think about it, I don't even know if I could have had the amount of strength. And then you think about how she still had to be a wife, a mother. She had to still be somebody's sister. She still had other children that she needed to take care of.
And you have to give them just as much of you as you're giving to this other child.
Yes.
So you're literally being split in however many different directions.
So even at that, the reason why this is so important, because we want people to know that first thing, you need to get that plank out of your eye before you can even see what's in mine. Do not ever feel like you have the right to say something to somebody, you hypocrite, about what somebody else is going through. That's not for you to say. Get your whole life. And I say that because I think about the people who may have called her a bad mother. The people who know what's going on. Or say, he faking. That's not real. Mental illness does not exist. Yes, it's in his head, but it's just in his head. That's, for me, that's unacceptable. And it's inappropriate. So get that plank out of your eye so that you can see clearly the speck that is in your brother's eye.
Because it's not helping.
No.
You're not helping the situation. Whether it be the patient or their caretaker, they're going through enough. You're never going to completely understand what's going on. You're never going to approve of everything that they're doing or their tactics, but because you don't know. What worked for your cousin might not work in this situation. Or, God forbid, you not know anybody with any of the conditions that you are so high above. That could never happen to me. Don't say that. First of all, don't say that. But don't make life any harder for other people than it has to be.
We're here to be encouragers, empower people. And that's what S.W.E.E.P does. We want you to be empowered. That's probably why we came real hard, is because, and I thought about when she was like, I was called a bad mother. Why? Why could you be called a bad mother? Because they don't know about the big 4x4 plank in their eye. Get it out so that I just did that on purpose.
She did?
Yes,
We
get
got
that
a
out
cartoon on the
so
show
that
now.
you can see clearly. Look, I hope you guys understand that mental illness is very serious and it's internal. And you can't, and it manifests itself outwardly, but it starts inside and you can't see
And it's
that.
not until it gets really bad.
Yes.
So you could absolutely have no idea that somebody's sick.
So we want to empower anybody who's going through this. Send us a testimonial. Let us know. Let Miss Pope know that you have been helped by her. Let us know. Send us one so that we know that you were empowered and educated by everything that S.W.E.E.P has said today. And that's it.
We've swept. We've mopped. It's all shiny and clean.
Yes.
Smelling all lemony fresh.
I like lemon fresh.
And we will see you guys in exactly 1 week with a new show,
Ooh,
a new topic,
honey, it's coming.
a new guest.
And you have to watch in order to see it. Y'all have a good one. Be blessed.
Yeah. Oops, here we go, round and round in circles. Stay tuned for the sequel. And every time I think I'm straight, I make that one mistake that sends me on my way. So I stand right here, right now, in the best way that I know how. Saying, God, please help me out. And I hope it's not a riddle. All things are possible. With God, is it that simple? No longer will I let the world influence me. No longer